I want to go back to the big story of the day. North Korea, a fifth nuclear test of a nuclear bomb, basically. It's said to be the most powerful nuclear device exploded by them yet. Gordon Chang is the author of Nuclear Showdown. North Korea takes on the world. Where is China in all of this? They have been silent. Okay, that's not the title of the book. That's my first question. Gordon, where is China in all of this? North Korea is its client state.
Yeah, I think China is complicit. We got to remember that one of the senior North Korean nuclear envoys arrived in Beijing on Tuesday. The North Koreans set this off on Friday. The North Koreans wouldn't have done that unless they thought the Chinese would give them a pass. Because if they thought that the Chinese would impose real costs on them, they wouldn't have set off the detonation today.
So China is actually tweaking everybody, all of its neighbors and the United States by allowing North Korea to do this.
Absolutely. And the China-North Korea trade is back to pre-sanction levels, which means basically China is busting sanctions across that border. And the United States really hasn't done anything about this. If we want to stop North Korea, we got to understand we've got a China problem, and we got to start imposing sanctions on Chinese entities that do business with North Korea in violation of the sanctions. Some of that trade, by the way, is uranium hexafluoride for their nuclear weapons program, and we haven't said anything about that.
Now, we just received the Obama administration's response to the North Korean nuclear test. Ashley, let's go to you to find out what they're saying.
We do. Well, saying in part this, today's nuclear test, a flagrant violation of multiple UN Security Council resolutions, makes clear North Korea's disregard for international norms and standards for behavior demonstrates it has no interest in being a responsible member of the international community. And to Gordon's point, it does go on to say we've got to do a better job of enforcing current sanctions and impose new ones.
Yeah,
but not sanctions on China.
Yeah, and we have the power to do that because on June 1st, the Treasury Department declared North Korea a primary money laundering concern. That means we need to put sanctions on Chinese financial institutions that engage in basically violative conduct.
Now, just let me get to grips with North Korea's technological ability. They say that at will they can put a nuke on the top of a rocket. And a couple of weeks ago, I think it was, they launched a missile from a submarine under the water. They appear to be gaining ground technically.
Yes, they are. They've got two missiles that can reach the lower 48 states. They don't have a nuclear warhead for those missiles yet, but they probably will in 2 to 3 years. And they also have a nuclear warhead that can fit on a medium-range missile that can hit U.S. forces in, for instance, Japan and South Korea.
Have we put up a nuclear missile shield? We have the technology. Have we done that around North Korea?
We're starting to do that with the THAAD missile defense system in South Korea, which China, by the way, is really angry with South Korea. And that's why North Korea thinks it has a free pass, because Beijing is so upset at Seoul.
What a mess, isn't it? What a mess.
Absolutely.
We've retreated. We appear to have virtually no influence there at all.
Yeah, and, you know, look, North Korea is a villain, China's a villain, but we've allowed them to be villainous on this.
Okay. Gordon Chang, thank you very much, sir. Appreciate you being with us. All right.